mind on Dynamic Weekly Sports Show. Sit back, relax, and groove while Dynamic drops sports in your ear hole. Now here's Dynamic David Coleman.
Boom. Good morning, Central Arkansas. Yes, it's Dynamic D in the hizzy. It's Saturday morning, it's 8 o'clock. Get your butt up. And let's jam. Let's listen to some sports. Let's have a good time. A lot of great things going on, but before we get started, let's do it like this. What's up, Central Arkansas? People down in Southeast Arkansas. You know, folks like El Dorado and Magnolia and Stamps and Stevens and, yeah, Camden. I went to school down there, so hey, how's it going? I hope everybody's doing okay. Let's not forget about our folks down in Nowlands, Louisiana. What's up? Thanks for listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. Appreciate it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Have a good time. Hey, let's go down to Pensacola and talk to the people in Pensacola, Florida. What's happening? Atlanta, I see you. Appreciate you. Thanks for joining me. Spread the word. The Weekly Sports Magazine is on the air. Let's not forget about our people in Philadelphia, Chicago. Now let's go to the left coast and holler at the people in Seattle, Washington. How about the people down in San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles? What up? Appreciate you joining me as always. And of course, I can't forget about my people down in Dallas, Texas. What's up, Dallas? How y'all doing? This is the Weekly Sports Magazine. We do it like this every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m., talking sports. Of course, the lines are open, 855-525-5683. That's how you get in touch with me. Yeah. That's how you get in touch with me. And of course, we play the best old school bumper music in the universe. We'll be playing some good stuff this morning as well. You know what? I'm honest with you. I'm torn. Maybe if you're out there listening or watching, you can give me a suggestion. What's happening, Miss Leela? How you doing? Let me give a shout out to the people in Lonoke, Arkansas. How y'all doing down there? How y'all doing? yeah, what's happening? You know, I'll tell you what, Jesse, let me give a shout out to the people in Fort Smith, Arkansas. What's up? Oh, I forgot. I didn't give out a shout out to the people in Nashville, Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee. What's up? Glad you're joining me this morning. Of course, if you have not already, it's time for you to reach over and pinch your spouse on the behind, and say, hey, baby, it's time to get up. Dave Coleman's on the air. He's talking sports. We're going to talk NFL, college football. We're going to talk hockey. We're going to talk NBA. The college football playoff poll is out. Man, a lot of stuff. Oh, the Razorbacks play Florida. Can they rebound from the debacle they had 2 weeks ago? They had a bye. Maybe they put in another play other than the rollout pass. You know, the fake rollout pass where everybody seems to cover that play. I know I'm acting crazy this morning. I do it every Saturday morning. What did you expect? Hey, the weather is fantastic. It's my kind of weather. The fall. It's a little late. I'd like to see some orange and yellows in the trees. You know what I'm saying? Come on, weather. What's going on? Maybe we'll get some snow this year as well. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about check this out. We're going to talk about the Lady Razorbacks. All right. Don't laugh. I'm sorry. We're going to talk a little bit about them. There was a little controversy that went on in Fayetteville. White folks, y'all need to get a grip. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. What would happen if those athletes decided not to go to your school? Think about that. We're going to talk about that later on today as well. Of course, we've got the dynamic pay dirt contest picks. We're going to talk about that, of course. Let's see, my record, here from last year. From last week, I'm like 27 and 22. Somewhere in there. 27 and 21, if I remember correctly. Let me just check the stats. 27 and 21. I'm still above 500. So if you're picking games with me, hang on. Hey, Leela, how you doing? Oh, by the way, Leela, I need to get some tea cakes. I'm going to call you later. I need some tea cakes. Making my order online on my radio show. We are streaming live on Facebook. Here's how you get in touch with me. 855-525-5683 is the number. You can get in touch with me that way. Or you can hit me up at Weekly Sports Mag. That's the Twitter handle. And you can also go out to Facebook, Weekly Sports Magazine. I am, thanks, darling. I will call you later about those tea cakes. But you can hit me up on Facebook Live as well. All right? By the way, holler at some of my friends. Look, Leela Joyce, Leela Bell's Sweet Creations. She makes fantastic desserts. And then, of course, another good friend of mine, and I built both of their websites, by the way. So if you need website help, I can help you with that. That's a shameless promotional plug. But also Dee's Delightful Desserts. She makes great birthday cakes and stuff like that. So anyway, check that out as well. Tell you what we need to do here is we're going to go to the break. When we come back, and we're going to try to later on talk to, and I'll hit him up a little bit later on my, that reminds me, where is my phone? Did I leave it at the house? I'm going to have to go find my phone. I'm going to take a break. I'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
Your small tax-deductible gift of $10 can make the difference in a young father furthering his education as opposed to a minimum wage job. Your $10 can make the difference in a young father dropping out or completing his degree for him and his family. Please give to the 104-10 to 1K scholarship campaign today. It's just $10. Make that tax-deductible donation at afathersfamilyaffair.com right now. Heads up, people, join us June 8th through the 10th, 2017 for A Father's Family Affair. It's a day to accentuate, celebrate, and motivate positive fathers in our community. On that day, we'll uplift and show some love to the dynamic men in our lives, our brothers, uncles, fathers, and friends. Support this event with your tax-deductible contributions. Proceeds for the event go to Heart of the Solution, a great nonprofit right here in the Little Rock area. Tell a friend, tell your church, tell everybody.
All right, good morning, everybody. Appreciate you joining me. Those of you who are on the feed. Just trying to make sure I'm organized here. I thought I had left my phone at the house. All right.
Hey friends, let me tell you how I discovered Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub and learned to bake
bake it, grill it, shake it, oh yeah. I recently planned a family get-together, but my caterer became ill. We had pounds of meat, but nothing for seasoning. I rushed to the grocer and found Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, which comes in two great flavors, hot and spicy and original, sitting above the meat counter. Took it home, then logged on to ribrub.com for some great recipes. If you've tried Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, I don't have to tell you what a hit my ribs, chicken, and burgers were. If you haven't, what are you waiting on? Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub is not just for grilling. Get one of the convenient flavor seal bags and try it on veggies and snacks. It's a dry marinade, so add a little or a lot, but make sure you add Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub to whatever you're cooking, and you too will say bake it, grill it, shake it, oh yeah. Log on to ribrub.com and get great recipes and store locations. That's Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub at ribrub.com.
Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I am Dynamic Dave, kicking back like a fat rat old school style, playing some of the best old school bumper music and talking sports. That's how we do it. It's going to be an interesting day in sports today. And of course, you can call me up at 855-525-5683. That's how you get in touch with me. We're talking sports, whatever's on your mind. We've got NBA, we got college football, we got college basketball is about to start on a Veterans Day. There's a big tip-off classic there. We've got hockey, man. We got NFL, man. We've got it all right here, and the line's open for you right now to call me up and talk a little sports as well. Now, one other thing before we get into sports, I want to remind people, if you heard the commercial spots about a father's family affair, I hope you'll get involved. I hope you will get, what I'm simply asking people to do is donate $10. That's all I need. All right. If everybody in the sound of my voice would donate $10, go out to afathersfamilyaffair.com. Now, of course, if you want to donate more, please do so. But we're trying to raise some money. There's a big name celebrity that we're planning to bring if we can raise the money. So please get involved with that. Plus, it's going to be a very nice event. You can go out to the website right now, fathersfamilyaffair.com, and see some of the things that we've got planned. Okay? So it's going to be a positive weekend for fathers and family. We've got to do more in our community to uplift fathers, even the ones that aren't doing so good. We got to show them that, hey, look, if you do the right thing, if you want to be effective in your children's lives, there are support groups that will help you, that will get you where you need to be. There's also going to be a health fair, a uniquely natural hair fashion show. It's going to be fun. We're planning to have sack races, hula hoops, you name it. So please get involved. Again, go to afathersfamilyaffair.com. That's how you get more information. And that website is what is called dynamic. In other words, it's going to change on a regular basis as we add more and more stuff to it. So please check back to the website on a regular basis to stay up to date on what's going on with the Father's Family Affair. Now, it's not until June of 2017. It's going to be on the Philander Smith College campus. So please get involved. Please go out again. The website of fathersfamilyaffair.com. Tell your friends, tell your preacher, tell everybody. Look, if you told 5 friends to go to that website and donate $10, think how much money we could raise. Because here's the great thing about it. Not only are we trying to raise some money to bring a dignitary here, but we're also trying to raise a minimum that will have $1,000 to put on a young father's books. Now, what does that mean? We want to take $1,000 and a young father that's in school, we want to put it on his books and pay for his tuition. Seriously, $1,000. That can go a long way, particularly with a young father who is struggling, who's vacillating back and forth. Should I continue to stay in college, or should I drop out of school and get a minimum wage job? If he has that $1,000 to put on his books, he can stay in school because it makes more sense to get the degree so we can help pay for that child long term as opposed to dropping out and getting a minimum wage job that's not going to do anything. So, fathersfamilyaffair.com. Thank you for listening to me. You'll hear me talk more and more about that as weeks go on. You hear the commercials. Jordan Radio is one of our sponsors. We want to thank JC Love and all the people who are getting involved with that. Jenny Love is part of the Uniquely Natural Hair Fashion Show. It's going to be a nice event, folks. I just need you all to get involved. We're just going to come out, have a good time with friends and family and fathers. Again, accentuating, celebrating, and motivating positive fathers in the community. Again, we need to raise some money. So go out to the website. There's a donation button on the left side. By the way, any donation you make, this money is going to help support another nonprofit called Part of the Solution. Part of the Solution has been doing a lot of great work here in the community as it relates to keeping young people from smoking cigarettes. We know all the detrimental effects that go on once you begin to smoke cigarettes. Part of the solution, and here's the thing, very seldom do people start smoking in their 20s. It's something that is acquired in their early teens, and if you can keep that from happening, the odds are that they will never start smoking. And of course, that'll help stop at least heart disease, a lot of things that smoking causes. So anything you donate to us is tax deductible. So if it's $10, if you want a tax deduction on that $10, donate that to us, okay? If you got $100 you can donate. Look, the end of the year is coming up. The end of the year is coming up, and I know a lot of people out there are looking for deductions, particularly if you itemize. I know you're looking for deductions. So here's a great organization you can make a tax deductible donation to support a great cause. So please go out to fathersfamilyaffair.com. That's fathersfamilyaffair.com. Click that donate button. I'm asking you to do no less than $10. If you can do more than $10, that would be fantastic. And you'll see the fruits of your labor. And certainly tell your friends about June 8th, 9th, and 10th. Look, sometime in the spring, I will tell you, there's going to be a Men Who Cook contest. I'm just throwing that out there for you. Okay? Just throwing that out there. And we're trying to decide where we're going to have this event. It's going to either be at Philander or Arkansas Baptist College. One of the two. We'll see how that works out. I want to get Arkansas Baptist College involved in this as well. Okay? So anyway, again, fathersfamilyaffair.com. I appreciate you indulging me. Didn't mean to kill that whole segment with that, but it's so important to me. But not only that, it's more important to the community. We've got to do a better job of assisting our fathers. We've got to do a better job of helping our fathers. We've got to do a better job of uplifting our fathers, because the common denominator of all the negative behavior our children participate in is fatherlessness. That's the common denominator. So if we really want to solve some of the ills that are going on in our society, in our community, then we got to start with fathers. You can't save women and you don't save fathers. It doesn't make any sense to me. All right, I'm done. I'll tell you what, let's take another quick break. When we come back, we will talk sports. That's a promise. All right, appreciate you listening. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave on JournetRadio.com.
How much money would you be willing to give? $50, $100, $500 maybe? How about just $10? Hi, my name is David W. Coleman, and in conjunction with A Father's Family Affair, we've launched the 100 for 10 to 1K scholarship campaign. We need 100 people to donate $10 to assist a young father with college tuition. Just $10. Go to fathersfamilyaffair.com now to make a tax-deductible donation. Your small tax-deductible gift of $10 can make the difference in a young father furthering his education as opposed to a minimum wage job. Your $10 could make the difference in a young father dropping out or completing his degree for him and his family. Please give to the 100 for 10 to 1K scholarship campaign today. It's just $10. Make that tax-deductible donation at afathersfamilyaffair.com right now. LeBron James is the greatest player we've seen this generation. You have to be careful when you start saying, so, well, he wasn't as good as Michael, or he wasn't as good as Magic. Every generation you get that. You begin to sound like that old man that lives down the street, and every time you walk on his yard, or you even walk by his yard, he's on the porch, and he's got that little crooked finger, and he's like, get off my lawn! Get off my lawn! Join me Saturday mornings at 9 for the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. We play the best old school bumper music. This morning it's the Commodores. I appreciate them joining us as well. We got a lot of stuff to talk about, of course. 855-525 is the number. That's how you get in touch with me if you want to talk some sports this morning. By the way, what's up, Tracy? Appreciate you joining me. Hope your son's doing well. Hope the family's doing well, all right? And look, I need to call you. We need to get in touch, talk a little bit as well. Look, a lot of stuff to talk about this morning. Where do I start? Of course, let's do this, and then we'll segue even more into some more sports. I'll tell you what, we've got like 10 mice on my counter up here. Okay, not the rodents, but those. That's computer lingo. Okay. So let's start with this. Of course, this past weekend, the Arkansas Razorbacks, Ladybacks, of course, I'll be honest with you, don't talk a lot of Razorback lady basketball. Don't talk a lot of lady sports. Probably should do more, but hey, I'm not a big basketball fan when it comes to certain teams. But anyway, there was a little controversy going on Fayetteville this weekend. 6 of the Arkansas women's basketball team, they knelt during the national anthem in an exhibition game where they were playing a team called Oklahoma Baptist. It was Thursday night at the Bud Walton Arena. And let's see, their names are Brianna Freeman, Yasmin Ratliff, Tatiana Smith, Jalen Mason, Kiara Williams, and Jordan Danbury. They all took a knee, and of course, Razorback fans went crazy. I mean, started calling them all out their names and stuff on Twitter and stuff like that after the fact. But of course, I wanna take my hats off to Jimmy Dykes and the athletic director Jeff Long, and I'm gonna read this statement to you guys. First of all, here's Jimmy Dykes. This is the head basketball coach. We are extremely proud of our young ladies. They have strong, well-educated opinions. Let me repeat that. They have strong, well-educated opinions based on their real-life experiences. Okay? That was Jimmy Dykes. Kudos to him for stepping up and standing behind his players. Because, it really annoyed me as this whole process has went on since Colin Kaepernick took a knee, that these coaches are ignoring the fact that what goes on in these players' personal lives, you don't give a darn about. That's pretty clear on that when you start saying that, they shouldn't stand, they shouldn't protest. Because every day of their life when they're walking on the street, they have a chance to be assaulted by people that are supposed to protect us. Here's the email from Jeff Long, who is the athletic director for the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville. In this country, we value everyone's right to voice their opinions and views. University campuses are places of learning and thus places where differences of opinion and varying perspectives are recognized. We respect the rights of our student athletes and all individuals to express themselves on important issues in our nation. We will continue to encourage our student athletes to engage in constructive conversations with their peers, coaches, support staff, and administrators to raise awareness of varying backgrounds and life experiences and to develop understanding among conflicting points of view. We will also continue to support our student athletes in all areas of their education, community engagement, career, and personal development. I applaud you. I applaud you. Now, I'm going to rip your football team here in just a moment. But that stands by both Jimmy Dykes and Jeff Long. Kudos, kudos, kudos. This is what athletic directors, school administrators all across the country should be doing. Because number one, you're right. A university is a feeding ground for protest, for learning, for activity, and to try to silence those who want to protest is anathema to what you stand for. Number one. But more importantly, to discount what your young people are going through in their everyday lives just because they play basketball for you is utterly ludicrous. And this is the one thing that a lot of these fans don't understand. Because at the end of the day, if these girls decided that they weren't going to play, you'd be in trouble. By the way, you figured out that's going to be my dynamic dish later on. We got some more headlines for you right now as well. But I wanted to start with that simply because it's just amazing to me how ignorant some people are. All right. Also, this week, the World Series. Congratulations to the Chicago Cubs. Now, a lot of people tag me on Facebook with memes with Chicago because, yes, last week I said, I don't care if the Cubs win or lose. And as a matter of fact, I went as far as to say, if they lost, I'd laugh. And I would. Because I love watching Cubs fans whine. Now, the great thing about the fact that they've won is that maybe we won't hear them whining anymore. All right? Because, look, I'm a Pittsburgh Pirates fan. Okay? And most fans who are fans of other teams, and I saw an interesting meme there was a Cubs fan who had apparently juxtaposed a Cubs logo on the St. Louis arch. And there were some interesting comments from St. Louis fans. Some that I can't repeat, okay? So, fans of other teams, you think they're cheering for the Cubs? Huh? All right, let's say for instance, fans of the Pittsburgh Steelers, when the Patriots win a Super Bowl, do you think they're cheering for the Patriots? Come on, folks. I'm glad, look, good that the Cubs won. Happy for you, good for you. But I don't care one iota. And I'm not going to fawn over the Cubs winning one World Series finally after, 108 years. Good. Now, can we move on? But I will tell you, it was a darn good series. Enjoyed it tremendously. And they were saying that this was one of the highest watched. In fact, I think this was the highest watched series in history. And a lot of that had to do with the Cubs, no doubt about that. And of course, because remember early cable, see, kids don't remember this. When we had cable, they had that little tan box with that little slider thing on the top, and you slid it from channel to channel, and then you would have that little knob that you would click. It had 3 bands, and you could go to all 3 bands. And you would get inundated with 2 teams. The Atlanta Braves, because you had TNT Sports, Turner Broadcasting. It later turned to TNT Sports. And then, of course, you would have WGN. And they would get all the Cubs games during the day. So that's what you got. So that's kind of how you built the Cubs following all around the country, I think. But anyway, congratulations to the Cubs. Okay? I mean, are y'all happy that I said congratulations? But again, I don't care. I was just happy that it was a good series. That was the main thing that I was concerned about, that it was just a good series, and it was a good series. Okay? So much for that. Baseball's over. The question is, can baseball carry itself on those levels through next year? Maybe if the Cubs are back, Indians, there was some intriguing things going on, but baseball still has some problems. The ratings that they got during the World Series is not indicative of the ratings that they get in regular season games. So just be aware of that. All right, the college football playoffs were released last week, and there was a little controversy, but I don't see a problem with that. I'll give you the top 10. The top 4 that only matters at this point. And we'll start from 10 and go down. It's Nebraska, Auburn, Wisconsin, Louisville, Ohio State. Here's where it gets interesting. Washington, Texas A&M, Michigan State, Clemson, and Alabama. Now, the first three, don't have a problem with that. All three are undefeated. Certainly, if all three win out, it's probably it could potentially end up again with the rematch from last year, Alabama and Clemson. Michigan is still in there. Look, I'm going to be honest with you, they're undefeated. I'm not sold on Michigan. They've still got to go to Ohio State later on in the season and play. But they are where they are right now. The fourth team, which is where people began to get a little upset, Texas A&M, one lost to Alabama, but then they think Washington. Well, let me ask you something. Who has Washington played? Raise your hand. Tell me. Let me just pull up their schedule, if y'all don't mind, cause a lot of people are upset, and you're thinking, well, they're undefeated, they ought to be in the top 4. No. If you play in Conference USA and you undefeated, should you be in the top 4? No, you should not. And Washington should not be either. Now, we got to give them some respect, some spec. But I'm just going to go through their schedule right now and tell you who they've beaten. Rutgers, Idaho, Portland State, Arizona, Stanford, Oregon, and Oregon State. Oh, and let me not forget Utah. And their closest game was last week against Utah, at Utah, which I actually thought that Utah would win that game. Although I did pick for the spread. So Stanford is down. They did beat Arizona by 7, so that was a close game. But all the other games was just blowouts. So for Washington fans to be complaining about the fact that they should be in the top 4, I don't even think they need to be in the top 5, to be totally honest, when you look at that schedule. The only formidable team, now they've got Cal today. We'll see. They're at Cal. But the only formidable team that they may have is Washington State at the end of the season, and Washington State is curiously 5-0 in the Pac-12. I'm just saying. So when you compare, look, I think Ohio State may be ahead of them. To be totally honest, I can't give it to Louisville because let's go back and look now. Louisville plays in the ACC, but the only game they've lost is Clemson. But they beat Florida State. They blew out Florida State. But when you look at their schedule, it's not like they really beat anybody. They struggled against Virginia last week. I watched part of that game. That was a pretty good game. So when you look at that from a big picture, I don't see any problems right now with the college football playoff rankings. I don't. If I have a problem, I'd say I move Washington down. And I know that's blasphemy for a lot of people who are Washington fans, and they want to hard. Well, they're undefeated. But come on, folks, look at their schedule. They should not even be number 5. I'll give them number 6, just barely over Louisville. Now, if they continue to be undefeated, yeah, they can continue to move up. I'll give them some credit because it's pretty hard to go undefeated. Even still, they've got the big game if Washington State stays undefeated, or even if, look, clearly Washington State, I believe, are 5-2 this year. So clearly Washington State is a fairly good football team. So that's going to be a tough game, and that's always a tough game because it's a rivalry game. But Washington being number 5, I don't have a problem with it at all. At all. All right. Now, talk a little NBA. There was some interesting things taking place this week. Of course, the NBA, there's a lot of homecoming games, and of course, the big game earlier this week was Kevin Durant, and Westbrook playing against one another. Of course, Oklahoma City went to Golden State. Durant went off. He had 29 points in the first half. He ends up with 39 for the game. Westbrook, look, I'm going to tell you, my son is a big Oklahoma City fan. And by the way, what's up, Keely? How you doing? Hope you're listening to the show. But my son is a big Oklahoma City fan. And that team has no talent now. Westbrook cannot do it by himself. And I hear all this talk about, well, Westbrook is the best player in the league. Yeah, I mean, that's fine and dandy. But what does that mean in the big picture? It would be different if the league was a one-man league or a one-man team. But you have four other guys that you need in order to win a championship. And Oklahoma City just ain't got it. Sorry. They just don't. They're going to win their share. I think they're going to be in the playoffs. But Oklahoma City just doesn't have it. They don't. Classic example. And you all know me. Y'all know I like to talk about LeBron James. Tyronn Lue, the head coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers, said something very interesting the other day. He believes that LeBron James could average a triple-double if he wanted to. And I believe he could, very easily. Certainly the points would be there, the assist would be there, and the rebounding would be there. I think he could very easily. But if he did that, how would that affect his team overall? Him getting his numbers, would that help or hurt the Cleveland Cavaliers? Will that keep them in the hunt for a championship year in or year out? Or would that just simply put them in the playoffs? You have to think about that. So I know we're in a league and in a world now where putting up bodacious and just huge numbers is just so great, and we get excited about that. But at the end of the day, how many championships you got, dog? How many rings you got on your finger? That's really what matters most importantly when you talk about team sports. Are there people, are there individuals who rise above the team sport to be the best in that business? Of course there are. There are always people, regardless of what profession you're in, whether it's sports, whether it's computers, whether it's radio, wherever, that rise above the noise to be the best of the best. But at the end of the day, that's usually individual. That's more individual than a team sport. LeBron James can't do what he needs to do without those five other guys. I'm just saying. So I agree. LeBron James certainly could average a double-double in my opinion based on the way he plays. I mean, look how he dominated the series last year, a few months ago. Wow. By the way, the Lakers end Curry's 157-game three-point streak. In other words, Curry had hit a three-pointer in 157 straight games. And last night, the Lakers manhandled him. What's going on? Did Golden State make a mistake in picking up Kevin Durant? Can they gel? Will they gel? That's going to be the big question. So far, they've had two games where they've had the floor wiped with them. They have. But it's a long season. I wouldn't get upset. I still think at the end of the day, it's going to be Cleveland and Golden State. Here's the thing, though. This is a different Golden State team. Certainly, they've got that front five. But what made Golden State so dynamic last year was the bench. They've traded away quite a few of those guys. Can they hang on? That's the question. And they have no inside game whatsoever. It's going to be interesting to watch. When we come back, we'll give you some scores from the NBA last night. We'll also get into our dynamic pay dirt contest picks. So stick around for those as well. A lot of other stuff. Of course, you can call me up. You got to take. Appreciate everybody joining me on Facebook Live. We'll be doing this every week. We got to figure out a way how we can put my overlay on that. We'll work on that as well. But anyway, we're going to go out and take a break. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
Somebody needs to teach that side of the family how to barbecue. Did you see them
selfish.
Hey fans, what? You haven't tried Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub? It's great for meats, veggies, and snacks. Let your fingers do the walking and log on to ribrub.com. That's RIBBRUBB.com. Then let your mouth do the talking about great recipes and gift ideas. Then you too can bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah. Hey business owners and entrepreneurs, our illustrious leader, JC Love, is so excited he's put together a 5th anniversary advertising package just for your business. Me personally, I think he's lost his ever-loving mind. Here's what you get. 3 months of advertising, 3 times per day, Monday through Friday, and we throw in weekends just for kicks. We blast your business on the Joynet Radio social media network. Live mentions on the air. You get not 1, not 2, but 3 live interviews throughout the duration of the ad cycle. That's a $1,200 value. This total package is only $375. That's right, $375. Business owners, get to the phones right now. Call 855-525-5683 for the next 3 months. JoyNetRadio.com has celebrated its 5th year anniversary, and the savings are being passed on to you. Heads up, people. Join us June 8th through the 10th, 2017 for a Father's Family Affair. It's a day to accentuate, celebrate, and motivate positive fathers in our community. On that day, we'll uplift and show some love to the dynamic men in our lives, our brothers, uncles, fathers, and friends. Support this event with your tax-deductible contributions. Proceeds for the event go to Part of the Solution, a great nonprofit right here in the Little Rock area. Tell a friend, tell your church, tell everybody. A Father's Family Affair, June 8th, 9th, and 10th. Philander Smith College campus. Come out and enjoy a day of hula hooping, water gun fights, and Zumba dancing, along with a uniquely natural hair fashion show. Black Riders on Tour, Southern Edition, featuring Kendrick Norman and Dr. Rosie Milligan. That's just the start. We'll see you there June 8th, 9th, and 10th. Go to afathersfamilyaffair.com. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. We're enjoying ourselves this morning, playing the best old school bumper music, of course. And this morning it's the Commodores, and appreciate everybody listening as well on Facebook Live, and of course who are checking the live stream out. You can also listen if you're in your car or on your phone out jogging. Go to joynetradio.com. Typically, we stream from the Weekly Sports Magazine website. We haven't done much of that this year. I'm rethinking the website, okay? As a matter of fact, I'm going to break some news. I'm looking for some energetic young sports writers. And this will be a place where you can incubate your stories if you want. Well, there's more coming about that, but I'm thinking about that as we move forward, okay? We were talking NBA last segment. Let me just quickly go through some scores last night. Let's see. Washington beats Atlanta. Brooklyn loses to Charlotte. Miami is beaten by Toronto, who is currently 4-1. New Orleans over, Phoenix over New Orleans. New Orleans is currently 0-6. Anthony Davis is having a season beyond seasons, and they can't win a basketball game down there. Game I looked a little bit at last night, the Knicks over Chicago, 117-104. Derrick Rose had an interesting game. Dwayne Wade all of a sudden has become a three-point shooter, and he had 35 points and 10 rebounds, a double-double last night in a losing effort. The Memphis Grizzlies loses to Clippers 99-88. Peculiar call on a Chris Paul thing last night. Don't know if you saw that. Portland over Dallas 105-95. San Antonio is plugging right along. Kawhi Leonard with 29 points, 11 rebounds, 100-86 over Utah. And I talked a little bit about the Los Angeles Lakers over Golden State 117-97. Stephen Curry only had 13 points. Julius Randle led the Lakers with 20. But the peculiar thing about that game is Golden State was as terrible, and the Lakers led from stem to post, or pillar to post, or stem to stern. In other words, the Lakers led the whole darn game. And I don't know what was going on. I don't know if they were too hyped for the game between Oklahoma City and Golden State 2 nights before, which they should not have been. But we'll see how this thing plays out. But I still think they're going to be where at the end you're still going to have to go through Golden State in the West. Now San Antonio is not going to be any slouch, but there are two teams that's potentially going to come out of the West. If Kawhi Leonard stays healthy, that team's continue to play, you're going to have to deal with San Antonio, because San Antonio, you expect San Antonio to be able to dismantle Golden State, but you certainly don't expect the Lakers to be able to do that. So that was a peculiar game last night in the NBA. Just quickly looking at some standings, because it's early, and we're going to try to get Larry Ridley on the line, but some early look. Charlotte's 4-1, by the way. Cleveland 5-0. Charlotte 4-1. Toronto 4-1. In the West, you've got Tampa. I don't want to keep saying Tampa. San Antonio is 5-1. Clippers 4-1. Oklahoma City, sans Durant, 4-1, and Golden State is 4-2. So it's going to be an interesting season. And quickly, a lot of people ripped Kevin Durant. He's going to be all right, man. And if I'm Durant, I would stop answering questions related to the issue of Westbrook. Get over yourself. It's over. Time to move on. Stop that craziness. He has a right to do what he wants to do. And this mess because, wow, how could you go to the team that just beat you? Maybe you weren't happy at the team that you just lost on. Think about that. Okay? So, hey, take your money and run, Durant. It's your choice. You can do whatever you want to do. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right. We got to go out and take another break. We're on time this morning, folks. I'm excited. We've got college football left and professional football left to discuss for the rest of the show. So we'll get into that a little bit. I'll tease you about some of the games that are going on this week. Fun games, not a lot of top 25 games between top 25 opponents. In fact, I think there's only one. But there's a big one down in Baton Rouge. Laissez say le bon temps roule. Let the good times roll, as we do it right here every Saturday morning on the weekly sports magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
Attention business community, get involved with the Father's Family Affair as a corporate sponsor. Go to afathersfamilyaffair.com to review the various levels of corporate sponsorship. A Father's Family Affair takes place June 8th through the 10th, 2017 on Landis Smith College campus. On that day, we'll accentuate, celebrate, and motivate positive fathers in the community. We can't do it without your corporate gift. Your sponsorship can be a tax-deductible contribution supporting the nonprofit organization part of the solution. We've set it up so every business owner, regardless of size and scope, can get involved, from vendors to food trucks and beyond. Your sponsorship will help provide a $1,000 scholarship for a single father. Don't miss this great opportunity. Go to afathersfamilyaffair.com for details or call 615-554-0568.
Hi, I'm Andrea from Sweet Soap, located in the River Market. Are you planning a holiday party? You don't want to deal with the fuss of fighting traffic, grocery shopping, and the food preparation? Let Sweet Soap take care of all your holiday needs. Call me at 501-291-9996 and let's discuss your holiday desires. Dinners, cakes, pies, oh my. We promise to tickle your taste buds and your guests will be thrilled. Don't wait till the last minute and miss out. Remember Sweet Soul and be sure to stop by our location in the River Market weekdays to enjoy breakfast and lunch specials. Call me, Andrea, at 501-291-9996 or check out website littlerocksweetsoul.com. Sweet Soul in the River Market. I will see you there.
I'm Crystal C. Mercer, and I listen to the weekly sports page with dynamic David Coleman.
Hey friends, let me tell you how I discovered Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub and learned to bake it, grill it, shake it, oh yeah. I recently planned a family get-together, but my caterer became ill. We had pounds of meat, but nothing for seasoning. I rushed to the grocer and found Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, which comes in 2 great flavors, hot and spicy and original, sitting above the meat counter. Took it home, then logged on to ribrub.com for some great recipes. If you've tried Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, I don't have to tell you what a hit my ribs, chicken, and burgers were. If you haven't, what are you waiting on? Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub is not just for grilling. Get one of the convenient flavor seal bags and try it on veggies and snacks. It's a dry marinade, so add a little or a lot, but make sure you add Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub to whatever you're cooking, and you too will say bake it, grill it, shake it, oh yeah. Log on to ribrub.com and get great recipes and store locations. That's Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub at ribrub.com.
LeBron James is the greatest player we've seen this generation. You have to be careful when you start saying, and so, well, he wasn't as good as Michael, but he wasn't as good as Magic. Every generation you get that. You begin to sound like that old man that lives down the street, and every time you walk on his yard, and you even walk by his yard,
Coming back. We're gonna do the dynamic dish this segment, and next segment we'll get into all the football.
Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
Welcome back to the weekly sports magazine. A little old-fashioned love for you. I'm Dynamic Dave. We're here every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m. talking sports. We're going to talk football next hour. A lot of football next hour. We may have a special guest talk some NBA, but if not, the whole segment is going to be dedicated to football, college and pro. We'll also throw out the dynamic pay dirt picks as well. So all of that's going to take place. But I want to use this segment. Every Saturday morning, we typically do what is called the dynamic dish. That's right. It's where I take something that's happening in the world of sports and tie it into everyday life. And certainly there are a lot of things that are going on in sports today that ties into everyday life. One took place right here in the state of Arkansas last Thursday night at the University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, where 6 young women decided to step out of the shadows and stand up for justice and equality. Those 6 young women were booed, certainly after the game were chastised. But I want to applaud the University of Arkansas athletic department and coaching staff, because this was 6 women who played for the women's basketball team who decided that they would not stand for, or they took a knee during the national anthem. And I am so proud of those young women who are not afraid to stand up for what they know is going on in their communities on a daily basis when it comes to their young black brothers and sisters. This is not a myth. This is not some figment of a community's imagination. This is not some tall tale that you speak about around the campfire to scare people. Police brutality is real in the black community. It's not that it just started happening. It happens on a regular basis, and it's been happening for decades. And these young people have had enough. In fact, we all have had enough. And sports have always been a platform to voice, to protest, going all the way back to the days of Jack Johnson. You see, Jack Johnson used to love to beat up on his white opponents just to prove to them that he was a better man. So when these young ladies decided to take a knee, they took a knee for justice. They actually took a knee for the Constitution. They actually took a knee for the flag that in its third stanza disrespects our ancestors and talks about slaves. Yes, it does. But even beyond that fog of confusion, we must understand that there's a problem. Black people saying, hey, we're tired. Taking a knee is simply saying, hey, help. Majority society, look at us. We need you to hear our voices. Because if you don't start hearing those voices, then no telling where this thing is going to go. Racism is real in America. It has not changed. We've seen this presidential candidate, this presidential race, be solely based on race on one side of the equation. So these young ladies decided that, hey, we've had enough. And I dare you, any of these athletic directors around the country, what would happen if those black athletes weren't on your campus? Because we know that you get federal tax breaks for every minority that you have on your campus. So you make money off of them regardless. That's just not athletes. For every minority, did y'all know that? Colleges get tax breaks. So what would happen if they weren't on your campus? Let's not even talk about the residual income you'd lose from football and basketball alone, and the PR hit that you would take. Yeah, you need to listen to these young people. And Jeff Long said it best in part of his statement as I close. We will continue to encourage our student athletes to engage in constructive conversation with their peers, coaches, support staff, and administrators to raise awareness of varying backgrounds and life experiences to develop understanding among conflicting points of view. Thank you, Jeff Long. And thank you, Lady Razorbacks, for standing up. It's time to put some consciousness into our black athletes. It's time to tell them that you can do more than just go and dribble a ball or score a touchdown. You can stand up for what's right. You can push your university in doing the right thing. And you think that doesn't work? Ask Missouri. It does. All right, that's the dynamic dish for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, we'll post that later on as well. See what your thoughts are on that. But anyway, we've got to go out and take our top of the hour break. So let's go ahead and do that. When we come back, the whole next hour is going to be football bound. All right? College, pro. That's what we're talking about next hour. We might squeeze in a little more NBA. Maybe, maybe not. But I promise you, we got the dynamic pay dirt picks coming up. We've got my picks for college and pro. We've got just a look at some games around the country. Fun day, fun weekend. Some good games today and tomorrow. By the way, my Raiders are at the top of the AFC West. We'll talk about them as well when we get back. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
Come on, Grandpa. Time to go to the family reunion.
I ain't going nowhere. Remember what happened last year?
Yeah, Gramps, we had a great time.
Yeah, and then it starved to death in the process.
What are you talking about? There was plenty of food.
Yeah, food that didn't even taste good. Somebody needs to teach that side of the family how to barbecue. Did you see them folks Coleman's Dynamic Rip Rub like I told you?
Yes, Grandpa. After last year, I knew that was the only way you would go this year.
Hey fans, what? You haven't tried Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub?
It's great for meats, veggies, and snacks. Let your fingers do the walking and log on to ribrub.com. That's RIBBRUBB.com. Then let your mouth do the talking about great recipes and gift ideas. Then you too can bake it, grill it, smoke it. Oh yeah! Hey, business owners and entrepreneurs, our illustrious leader, JC Love, is so excited. He's put together a 5th anniversary advertising package just for your business. Me personally, I think he's lost his ever-loving mind. Here's what you get. 3 months of advertising, 3 times per day, Monday through Friday, and we throw in weekends just for kicks. We blast your business on the Joynet Radio social media network. Live mentions on the air. You get not 1, not 2, but 3 live interviews throughout the duration of the ad cycle. That's a $1,200 value. This total package is only $375. That's right, $375. Business owners, get to the phones right now. Call 855-525-5683 for the next 3 months. JoyNetRadio.com has celebrated its 5th year anniversary, and the savings are being passed on to you. Heads up, people. Join us June 8th through the 10th, 2017 for a Father's Family Affair. It's a day to accentuate, celebrate, and motivate positive fathers in our community. On that day, we'll uplift and show some love to the dynamic men in our lives, our brothers, uncles, fathers, and friends. Support this event with your tax-deductible contributions. The event, go to Part of the Solution, a great nonprofit right here in the Little Rock area. Tell a friend, tell your church, tell everybody. A Father's Family Affair, June 8th, 9th, and 10th, Philander Smith College campus. Come out and enjoy a day of hula hooping, water gun fights, and Zumba dancing, along with a uniquely natural hair fashion show. Black Riders on Tour, Southern Edition, featuring Kendra Norman and Dr. Rosie Milligan. That's just the start. We'll see you there June 8th, 9th, and 10th. Go to afathersfamilyaffair.com. Don't miss it.
It's time for the weekly sports page with the dynamic David Coleman. Stay tuned for thrills, chills, and yes, spills. Oh yeah, and a whole lot of other great stuff. Call 855-525-5683. Tweet your questions at Dynamic Sports PA or Facebook. Drop a line on Dynamic Weekly Sports Show. Sit back, relax, and groove while Dynamic drops sports in your ear hole.
Welcome back to the second hour of the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. Of course, call me up at 855-525-5683. We're talking sports. We do it like this every Saturday morning, playing some of the best old school bumper music in the universe as well. Appreciate everybody for joining me. We do it all the time, folks. Let's see here. Oh, this hour we're talking football. All right. A lot of things to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about the game going on in Fayetteville as well. Talk a little bit about what's going on around the SEC. About 9:20, I'll do my dynamic pay dirt picks. We'll talk about that. Some good games going on in college football, and as a matter of fact, we can talk about that right now. Your take as well by calling me. At Weekly Sports Mag is the Twitter handle. Those of you on Facebook, appreciate you joining me. Appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Spread the word. Those of you who are on the live stream, appreciate you joining me as well. We'll upload the whole show later on this evening for you all to check out those things. Okay? Now, wow. Where do we start? Man, there's just so much to talk about. Of course, over the last couple of weeks, we've been hearing about Cam Newton whining, complaining that he's getting hit. He's not getting the calls that he feels like he should be getting. Certainly, he's taking some shots. Now, let me tell you from this perspective. All right, I'm a person who covered Steve McNair basically from the time that he got into the league. This was where I was really beginning my sports radio broadcast career in Nashville, Tennessee. So this was during the time also that the Houston Oilers moved to Nashville to play in Nashville as soon to becoming the Tennessee Titans. And watching the shots that Steve McNair took was amazing. And it was always interesting the week before the game. A lot of times Steve he didn't even practice until maybe that Wednesday or Thursday. And he was the untouchable guy in practice because he would take so many shots from players. I remember, I forgot the linebacker's name from Kansas City. They were playing in Nashville. And Steve took a shot to his breastplate, that put him down for a while. And if there's a game where the Titans went to New York and played the Giants, and it was questionable whether Steve McNair would even play in that game. He had a fantastic game, ends up scrambling for the game-winning touchdown. But I tell you this story is because I've seen where quarterbacks who run, typically those quarterbacks, and there aren't many in the NFL, but typically the quarterbacks who run are the black quarterbacks. Now, we had Steve Young. Steve Young could run his butt off. And, of course, Montana could scramble. But they didn't take the shots that Steve McNair did. Certainly, and even if McNair was in the pocket, when you juxtapose McNair and Peyton Manning, because those two players' careers ran simultaneous, simply because McNair was playing for Tennessee and Manning was a Tennessee favorite son, and he was playing for the Colts, and they were rivals, and all that stuff that went into it. The little ticky-tack fouls that Manning got, you didn't give those to McNair. That was pretty obvious. So bringing this forward, I certainly think Cam Newton has a complaint, particularly when it comes to the black quarterbacks and how they get punished as opposed to the white quarterbacks. And, I hate to keep bringing race into this, but you know what? This country is built on race. Everything about this country is race. It's so you cannot, when you talk about these issues, you cannot separate the two. Because let's look at what Cam is saying. You look at some of these other quarterbacks and some of the calls that they're getting. Cam isn't getting those calls. Now, again, Cam, you got to understand, look, let's be realistic. If you are a quarterback, the number one thing that defensive player wants to do is take your head off. Look, I played defense. I'll tell you, it was an insult for the quarterback to run on you. If he dropped back to pass, I remember saying to myself, no, he ain't running. No, what? Get him. It was an insult. It really was. So for Cam to be running, and then not only does Cam run, Cam will run over you. So every chance they get, defensive players are going to take a shot. And then not only does Cam run over you, Cam gets up and dabs on you. He pulls the Superman thing on you. That'll take a defensive player off. So yeah, they're going to take shots at Cam Newton. Now, are they legal? Some question that. According to the NFL, most are. But I'm just simply saying, give him the benefit of the doubt. That's all I'm asking. Give him the benefit of the doubt. If in fact the shot is illegal, the hit is illegal, call it. But Cam, you can't be out there running. Look, you're 250 pounds, dude. You're 250. All right? So at the end of the day, you got to be aware of that. Okay? So tell you what, let's do this. Let's tell you what, we're going to blow off this break right here, because I want to get into some of the games that are going on. Coming up at about 9:25, we're going to talk to my good buddy Larry Ridley. We're going to talk some NBA. All right, but I do want to go with some of the games that are taking place today, and then about 9:40, that whole segment is going to be the dynamic pay dirt picks. All right, here's some top 25 games. Louisville at Boston College. Boston College is 4-4. Louisville 7-1, currently number 7 in the college football playoff poll. Louisville, just be careful. Boston College has had some interesting upsets at home. Louisville is favored by 25. I don't see Louisville having any problems, but something you might need to pay attention to. Texas A&M, another early game. They go to Mississippi State. Another one in potential trap games. Every now and then, these teams rear their ugly heads. I tell you, the game that you need to pay attention to is that Northwestern-Wisconsin game. Northwestern is at home playing Wisconsin. That's a trap game, I think, for Wisconsin. Now, look, Wisconsin is out of the college football talk. I mean, the playoff talk. So, but that's a trap game for Wisconsin. Early games, another, Vanderbilt at Auburn, and Georgia Tech at North Carolina. Some other now, not many games are with top 25 teams. Another interesting game, could be a trap game. Oklahoma State at Kansas State. Look at Kansas State potentially winning that game. The other game, Arkansas and Florida. Now, this is the game I want to talk about mainly because it's Arkansas. And let me get back to that. There are some other quick games. Florida State, North Carolina. Look at that game. Pay attention to that. Nebraska and Ohio State. That's a big game. Ohio State can't afford to lose. Nebraska, if they win, all of a sudden they are in the college football playoff talk. But they've still got a ways to go. The other top 25 game, Alabama and LSU. A lot of people are talking about LSU is going to win this game, yada, yada, yada. I don't see it. Sorry. Leonard Fournette is back, the best back in the country. Man, talking about getting ran over. But they're not going to beat Alabama. Alabama is going to win this game. They're favored by 7, by the way. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this Florida game in Arkansas. Because 2 weeks ago, I, like a dummy, picked the Arkansas Razorbacks. Yes, I did. What was I thinking? I thought that this team had turned the corner. I thought that maybe, just maybe, this team was beginning to play competitive football. And then we saw the Auburn game where Auburn put up a high school score on them. And they couldn't respond. They didn't respond. The coaching staff, the players, defensively, offensively, special teams, it was an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment. For you, the Razorbacks, to say that you are a top-tier SEC school and to get lit up like that by Auburn when you put up 30 points on Alabama made no sense to me whatsoever. So I lost faith in picking the Razorbacks. In fact, I doubt, well, we'll look at the schedule, but I'm not too keen on picking them much more this season because this team is still wearing its Halloween costume. You know, the costume of pretending to be a good team, but really being a not ready for primetime player. So they play Florida. Florida's 6-1. I'm still mind-boggled over the Tennessee loss to South Carolina last week. Of course, if you haven't heard, as this is side note, the top running back for the Tennessee Vols, Jalen Hurd, is apparently transferring. There are some issues going on at Tennessee. Don't be fooled. Top running backs just don't hit the road like that. Mom on Twitter, mom on Facebook, Raising Cain as well, is not looking good. Okay? It's not looking good at all. But Tennessee loses to South Carolina, a team that had no business being on the field, let alone winning that game. Tennessee had its own destiny ahead of himself. You went out and you look at Tennessee's backloaded schedule. They've got Kentucky. They've got, South Carolina, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Missouri. That's their schedule for the next 4 weeks. All you had to do was beat South Carolina. You were going to be favored in the rest of your games. You were favored in the South Carolina game. But you upchucked. You choked. Now Florida comes to Fayetteville because they had a game up on Florida because they had beaten Florida. Now Florida comes to Fayetteville. All they've got to do is win. And they win the SEC West, and they go to the championship. But they still got LSU on the schedule later on. Can they beat Arkansas? Are they good enough to play and beat Arkansas on the road? Maybe Arkansas would be motivated because they're playing at home. I would not dare touch this game if Arkansas was playing on the road. I'd run away from it as far as choosing the Razorbacks, for sure. But when you look at this Florida team, they still have quarterback problems. They've basically been able to live on their defense. Well, that Arkansas plays right into their hands because Arkansas is not going to make any dynamic plays. Their little crossing patterns, their little play action pass rollouts that where you dump it to the tight end who's 1 yard or beyond the line of scrimmage and he usually makes a half a yard on the play. That kind of play calling. Boy, I got to pick Florida. If I'm picking this game, and by the way, it's not one of my dynamic pay dirt contest picks, but I got to pick Florida in this game. I do. I don't see Arkansas doing much of anything. It'll be competitive. It would be nice if the Hogs won the game. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched. I'm just saying. I don't see it happening. Now, quickly before we go to break, let's talk about this Alabama-LSU game. It's a lot of hype about this game, folks. I'm going to tell you. LSU with Orgeron thinks that they've turned the corner. They've got the transfer Purdue quarterback, Etling. He's not that great. Let's be real. He hadn't played a team like Alabama with that defense. Now, we know Leonard Fournette and Geis are excellent players, excellent running backs. I mean, those guys, 1-2 punch, no doubt the best 1-2 punch in the country. But I think Alabama's up to the task. I think their front seven is up to the task. They play, look, if you want to model yourself after Alabama, then you need to play a lot of man-to-man. Look, can you stop Alabama? I think Alabama can stop LSU. But can LSU stop Alabama? Because if LSU can limit Alabama on offense and make Jalen Hurts beat them with his arm, I think LSU has a chance. But see, the one thing that people have not been able to do is make Jalen Hurts beat you with his arm. He kills you. I mean, it's like him is nothing more than a wildcat. I mean, the young man throws decently, but he's got 11 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. So he can be had in the secondary. The key is, can your front seven, LSU, and certainly you should have the talent, can your front seven limit Jalen Hurts' running ability and make him beat you with the pass? If you can do that, then we've got upset in the making. We got a very low-scoring game, by the way. If you can do that. The question is, can you do it? Alabama right now is favored by 7. I think the game is going to be closer than that. These games, we've had an overtime game, we had a 4-point game, a 3-point game. I think look, I'm taking Alabama on that, but I think it's going to be closer than 7. I really do. I really do. All right, we're going to go out and take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Larry Ridley. He should be calling us up here in a little bit. We're talking a little NBA, get his take on the first week and a half, 10 days of the NBA, what his thoughts are. Should we panic about Golden State? We'll talk about all that stuff here in just a moment. We've got more college football. There's some interesting games out here. You know, no really marquee type games. There are 1 or 2 later on tonight. But, I mean, if you're in the picking business, you ought to be a little nervous today because there are some games that could go either way. You could take a beating today. Just be aware. Don't bet the house. Don't bet the car. Don't bet the wife. In fact, don't bet a darn thing. We got to go out and take a break. It's all for fun, folks. We'll be back here in just a moment. You're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
How much money would you be willing to give? 50, 100, $500 maybe?
Hey folks, appreciate you on Facebook. Thanks for listening.
My name is David W. Coleman, and in conjunction with A Father's Family Affair, we've launched the 100 for 10 to 1K scholarship campaign. We need 100 people to donate $10 to assist a young father with college tuition. Just $10. Go to afathersfamilyaffair.com now to make a tax-deductible donation. Your small tax-deductible gift of $10 can make the difference in a young father furthering his education as opposed to a minimum wage job. Your $10 can make the difference in a young father dropping out or completing his degree for him and his family. Please give to the 100 for 10 to 1K scholarship campaign today. It's just $10. Make that tax-deductible donation at afathersfamilyaffair.com right now. Heads up, people. Join us June 8th through the 10th, 2017 for A Father's Family Affair. It's a day to accentuate, celebrate, and motivate positive fathers in our community. On that day, we'll uplift and show some love to the dynamic men in our lives, our brothers, uncles, fathers, and friends. Support this event with your tax-deductible contributions. Proceeds for the event go to Heart of the Solution, a great nonprofit right here in the Little Rock area. Tell a friend, tell your church, tell everybody. A Father's Family Affair, June 8th, 9th, and 10th, Philander Smith College campus. Come out and enjoy a day of hula hooping, water gun fights, and Zumba dancing, along with a uniquely natural hair fashion show. Black Riders on Tour, Southern Edition, featuring Kendra Norman and Dr. Rosie Milligan. That's just the start. We'll see you there June 8th, 9th, and 10th. Go to afathersfamilyaffair.com. Don't miss it.
Hey friends, let me tell you how I discovered Coleman's Dynamic.
Hey, thanks for everybody joining me on Facebook this morning.
Oh yeah.
Spread the word.
I recently planned a family get together, but my caterer
Don't forget to make a donation, $10.
but nothing for seasoning. I rushed to the grocer and found Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, which comes in 2 great flavors, hot and spicy and original, sitting above the meat counter. Took it home, then logged on to ribrub.com for some great recipes. If you've tried Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, I don't have to tell you what a hit my ribs, chicken, and burgers were. If you haven't, what are you waiting on? Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub is not just for grilling. Get one of the convenient flavor seal bags and try it on veggies and snacks. It's a dry marinade, so add a little or a lot, but make sure you add Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub to whatever you're cooking, and you too will say bake it, grill it, shake it, oh yeah. Log on to ribrub.com and get great recipes and store locations. That's Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub at ribrub.com.
Welcome back to the weekly sports magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. We play the best old school bumper music in the universe. Expecting a call from Larry Ridley any moment. We're going to talk a little NBA, of course. Playing some of the best music here. I really enjoyed as well. Really appreciate everybody joining me as well. The word is getting out about the weekly sports magazine, and we could not do it without you. So keep spreading the word. We need to take this state, I should say we need to take this state by storm. So spread the word, tell your friends. We are here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. The best sports show. We talk sports, we talk issues. It's just not about talking scores. All right? It's not about being a homer. It's about being real. It's about being honest. It's about giving sports fans what they need to hear as well as what they want to hear. All right? So make sure you spread the word. We're here every Saturday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. Now, while we're waiting Larry Ridley, I should say while we're awaiting Larry Ridley, well, let's look at a couple of other games that's taking place today in college football. Another interesting game you might want to pay attention to if you're Florida State and North Carolina State. Florida State's on the road. This team has been helter-skelter this year. There are times when I thought they'd play well, they didn't. And there were times when they played well, when I thought they didn't, they did. So I don't know about this team, but that's a interesting game to pay attention to. There are a lot of games that are taking place today where you've got teams are really, really close to one another and could be a potential upset. The other game is Nebraska and Ohio State. Now, I picked Nebraska to go to Camp Randall last week to beat Wisconsin. What was I thinking? I am not picking this game at all this year, this week. But if I had a choice, I would probably end up staying with Ohio State. I'm not sold on Nebraska. They disappointed me last week. Let's go out to the phones and talk to my good buddy, my good friend, the voice of Madden, the Madden franchise 2017, Larry Ridley. Larry, good morning and welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. No doubt about it, man. Appreciate you joining me. I didn't talk to you last week. I wanted to get a few games under our belt as it relates to the NBA. But I said, man, I got to talk to Larry this week. First, let's start with Golden State. The sky is falling. We need to break that team up. Durant has been a cancer. They can't win. They may not even make the playoffs. Your thoughts? Well, if you're Cleveland, you've got to feel good that everybody is focusing on Golden State and you're quiet 5-0. You're just rattling along. But you talk about Golden State. I think the problem that they're going to have, certainly, you see they've got great offensive material. I am a little shocked that Steph Curry didn't even hit a three last night and breaks that 57 game streak. But when you look at this team, the way it's built, they have no defense. You talked about them taking a step back. I think they have no inside game. That's going to be their Achilles heel. You cannot sit out there, and although they've been successful in it virtually the last couple of years of just being a jump shooting team, it always comes back to the crowd. And you're right. I think people have started playing different defense on them, number one. And then number two, they're taking the ball inside. You take a page from what Cleveland did in the finals last year, start going to the hole, you're going to be much more successful. And especially with this Golden State team this year. Larry Ridley, he's out of New York. We're talking NBA. And Larry, let's talk a little bit about some of the other action that's going on around the NBA. You mentioned in the Eastern Conference, you mentioned Toronto. Surprisingly, Charlotte has only lost one game, but I want to talk a little bit more about the Western Conference and the San Antonio Spurs, because Kawhi Leonard had 29 points last night. Basically, I think it was 29 and 12 or something like that. It doesn't seem that anyone wants to give this guy any credit, but he now is the leader of the San Antonio Spurs, and this team is going to have to be reckoned with, period.
Or a half a court. Guard KD is the most versatile defender in the NBA right now. And that was a good game last time. 29 points. I think he had 11 or 12 rebounds right now. San Antonio's 5-1. Best team in the Western Conference right now. But look, I mean, Golden State's lost a couple of games. They're 4-2. Scott's not falling. But every little thing they do, the focus will be there. The Spurs will always be in this position. And this is why they're such a great organization. They're one of the best teams in the association. They've got the great culture, the great coach, and people forget they lost Tim Duncan without Duncan. So they're doing all of this. There was some talk in the offseason that you might have to ship out some of their guys there and do all the pieces fit, and how can Kawhi take these things on the shoulder? Marcus Aldridge, maybe he's not a fit here. Maybe you get rid of them. They lost them. David West as a guy there. And you look at some of the guys here, they get Dwayne Dedmon, who's playing well, who I covered with the Orlando Magic. He's a guy, a high energy guy that's going to score points in the paint, dunking the ball, very, very good as far as percentages down low, because he shoots a very good percentage because he's taking great shots. And defensively, he's actually a younger version. He's never going to be Tim Duncan, but his calling card is playing defense. So he can come in there and he adapts well to that system, because with the Orlando Magic coach and the assistant coach both came from San Antonio. So he's adopting very well. Kyle Anderson is starting to play a little bit better. Madden, they're getting contributions from him. You're going to get great perimeter shooting from folks like Danny Green. David Lee was a really good pickup. Here's a guy who played with Golden State, also played very well with the Boston Celtics. He's going to help you. One of his calling cards also, as well as being a really good perimeter player and a pretty decent shooter, is also defense as well. So they've gotten better defensively, or at least stayed the same. Golden State has regressed a little bit. 6 games in, though, folks. Just calm down. But a great job by San Antonio doing exactly what they always do. That's how you win 5 titles.
No doubt, especially with the best coach in professional sports, in my opinion. But I'm just saying. You mentioned the Raptors earlier. Of course, there was a report this morning that I read that the Raptors are interested in a trade of Nerlens Noel. What are your thoughts on that? And one other, and the Anthony Davis saga. And I say saga because it's so sad that he's in New Orleans. Well, let me take that back, because New Orleans, I love the city. But he's playing on a team that is just terrible. And this guy, the first 2 games, he had scored 98 points basically. He's probably scoring faster than anyone else. One of the best talents in the league that no one sees because he plays on the Pelicans. What are your thoughts?
Oh, the Pelicans. Oh, man. Poor Anthony Davis. I mean, truly a top 10 player in this league. We would all agree, right? Maybe even top 5. If we need franchise today, I would pick number percentage of folks. fans and GMs across the NBA, I would say what quarter at least. Most fans would probably say, oh, give me Anthony Davis. I'd like to start my team right now with a guy, age, consideration, injuries and all the things we can talk about. Looking at it currently as we speak. But gosh, they are awful. 0-6, and if it wasn't for New Orleans playing so bad, I actually think, Dave, to be honest with you, what about your Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah.
Just won a title 5 years ago. I mean, they're the perennial playoff team. They're a good team, and they're struggling as well. Spoken of Tyson Chandler, Dirk's getting up there in age. Defensively, they're a mess as well. Really interesting start to the season. I expect Philly to be bad. Wizards talked all that mess in the offseason. Bradley Beal, some of their young stars on their team. John Wall, we're going to be better. We're going to do this. We're going to get along. No, you're not. You're 1-3. You're not playing well either. And then you got the Mavericks and you got the Pelicans. And for Anthony Davis, it's kind of hard to feel sorry for him when you get that big contract. What did he get? 140, 150?
He got a lot more than you and I did.
I can't go play and join on a super team. But gosh, I mean, wouldn't you look good in Boston Green, or somewhere else? Thunder down in New Orleans and stuff. Orlando. Maybe move him that way, and maybe get Anthony Davis playing with Russell Westbrook. That's what I want to see.
Wow.
Talk about great teams and these super teams and these big threes. Let's go head to head. Let's have 4 great super teams or 5 instead of just 2. But it's a shame when you're going through New Orleans. But you can't be surprised, and you can't say that you didn't see this coming. I mean, you saw their roster 2 or 3 years ago when they signed that big deal. It hasn't gotten better. And who wants to play in New Orleans? Living in New Orleans is a different experience than visiting New Orleans, a totally different experience. Playing in New Orleans for that team, that franchise, that ownership, it is a mess. University of Kentucky right now would give them a run.
I was going to say, aren't you a sports analyst? Larry Ridley, he's with us every Saturday morning. Larry, before we let you go, tell the folks how they can get in touch with you. Now with the international media, you can hear you all the time. And, of course, plug your Madden Sports, Madden 2017.
Well, my day job's SNY. It's a national sports network. Regionally based out here in New York City. You can get it, DirecTV, Dish Network, all the channels, Comcast, all of that, AT&T, it's on there. If you want to get a sense of all those folks out there, they're from the New York City area. There's plenty of them that like their New York City and the tri-state area here with New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and also Pennsylvania as well. So the quad state area basically, because we're totally penetrated in Pennsylvania as well as far as our local base. But we got a huge Madden tournament. We got great news that we're about to announce today. We're going to be sanctioned, the first sanctioned Madden tournament that they've ever done. 2 weeks from today, it's going to be here in the New York City area. $5,000 to $10,000 for the winner there. It's to compete forever. Compete the number 4 in ever.com. That's the website. So it's going to be a big tournament up here leading into the $1 million Madden Championship Series. So we're the tournament that you feed into that. We've got 4 of them to go right alongside the Madden tournaments that won't happen this year. December 1st, also in late January, again in March, and then again in May. That's going to be $500,000. But $1 million total for those 4 tournaments. And, the Madden thing is taken off with the esports. It's completely insane and crazy how people are gravitating and coming out to see and watch other guys play games. I mean, it's very, very cool. But yeah, compete for every tournament next week or the week after next, 2 weeks from today, November 19th. Going to be very well. I'll be hosting that, and also that's running that business as well with the Challenger events here with Madden. And there'll be events that go right alongside the Madden Championship Series, so we're very important. First sanctioned event ever that they've done will be my tournament, so I'm very proud of that.
Well, Larry, and I'm certainly very proud of you as well. Keep up the great work. Much success. Tell the family I said hello, and we'll talk to you in a few days. Yeah, it ain't looking good, but we'll see. We'll see. Hey, I know. It's terrible. They are playing 60s basketball in the 2016. Let's be real about it. Yep. You're exactly. That's a great analogy. But I'm on cloud nine. You know, my Raiders are. You know, they're at the top of the AFC right now. So.
Three, the NFL MVP, him and Tom Brady, and also you look at somebody maybe like a Drew Brees or Matt Ryan, who I covered in Boston with the Boston College Eagles. Matty Ice is doing pretty well too in the ATL. But yeah, he's definitely top three right now in my NFL MVP ballots.
All right, Larry, got to let you go. Got to take a break. We'll talk to you probably next week or the week after. I'll call you and let you know. And look, and I'm going to send you a text about something and see if we can work out something as well. But I'll talk to you later on this evening about that, okay? All right, man. Bye. That's our good buddy Larry Ridley. He's with us every Saturday morning. Look, this guy has had the opportunity to cover some great sports, and we are happy to be able to get him on the show periodically. You know, we used to get him on every week. I don't want to take up his time. I know he's busy. He's a family man. But I get him on when we need to get him on, and he's always really, really gracious with his time. So thanks, Larry Ridley. And we're going to try to work out a little deal with him as well. Maybe to give away some PlayStation and Xbox games on the station. We'll let you know about that. Back in a moment, you're listening to the Weekly Sports Magazine on JoyNetRadio.com.
FamilyAffair.com to review the various levels of corporate sponsorship. A Father's Family Affair takes place June 8th through the 10th, 2017, on Philander Smith College campus. On that day, we'll accentuate, celebrate, and motivate positive fathers in the community. We can't do it without your corporate gifts. Your sponsorship can be a tax-deductible contribution supporting the nonprofit organization part of the solution. We've set it up so every business owner, regardless of size and scope, can get involved, from vendors to food trucks and beyond. Your sponsorship will help provide a $1,000 scholarship for a single father. Don't miss this great opportunity. Go to afathersfamilyaffair.com for details or call 615-554-0568.
Hi, I'm Andrea from Sweet Soap, located in the River Market. Are you planning a holiday party and don't want to deal with the fuss of fighting traffic, grocery shopping, and the food preparation? Let Sweet Soap take care of all your holiday needs. Call me at 501-291-9996 and let's discuss your holiday desires. Dinners, cakes, pies, oh my. We promise to tickle your taste buds and your guests will be thrilled. Don't wait till the last minute and miss out. Remember Sweet Soul and be sure to stop by our location in the River Market weekdays to enjoy breakfast and lunch specials. Call me, Andrea, at 501-291-9996 or check out website littlerocksweetsoul.com. Sweet Soul in the River Market. I will see you there.
I'm Crystal C. Mercer, and I listen to the Weekly Sports Page with dynamic David Coleman.
Welcome back to the Weekly Sports Magazine. I'm Dynamic Dave. Appreciate the Commodores and the music this morning. Of course, if you've got a band or a group that you want to request for the bumper music, you can always hit me on at Weekly Sports Mag or the Facebook page, the Weekly Sports Magazine. My favorite cut, the Commodores Zoom. I tell you, that's just a great, great song. Well, look, right now what we've got to do is the dynamic pay dirt contest. That's what we're doing today. We talked a little bit about some of the college games just quickly. Let's go and look at some of the NFL games for tomorrow, which is Sunday, week 9. You've got the Lions at Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Steelers at the Ravens, Jets go to Miami, the Eagles go to New York, Dallas at Cleveland, Jaguars at Kansas City, New Orleans and San Francisco. The Panthers travel out west to play the Rams. Chargers, the Titans go to the Chargers. Colts and Packers, Broncos and Raiders, the big Sunday night game. And the Monday night game, the Bills travel west to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, we'll use this last segment before we wrap up to talk a little bit. And let me do this as well. Let me go ahead and quickly give you the games that are going to be played today in the SEC. Georgia Southern travels to Ole Miss. Texas A&M goes to Mississippi State. Vanderbilt travels to Auburn down on the plains. Florida at Arkansas. We talked a lot about that in depth. Missouri at South Carolina. Tennessee Tech plays Tennessee. Georgia at Kentucky. And Alabama at LSU. So those are the games for the SEC. Now, let's take a quick moment and let's quickly go over the picks for today. Now, we talked a little bit earlier about the Razorbacks and Florida. I think this team is still perpetrating. I am not sold on the Razorbacks. They are a 3.5-point underdog at home. I would not be surprised if this game got out of hand. It would be nice if the Razorbacks won. I'm not sold on Florida. I'm only picking Florida because the Razorbacks disappointed me so badly in the Auburn game. Not as a fan, but the way they played. In this business, I look at how you play. And if you are a team that's good, not great, but good, you don't play like that. If you are a mediocre team, which the Razorbacks have been for the last few years, those are the types of games that you play. And that's why I'm picking Florida in this particular game. The other game, Kansas State and Oklahoma State. Kansas State is at home. This is a 2:30 game. Kansas State is 5-3. Oklahoma State 6-2. Again, it's one of those games where I just feel kind of funky about it. I'm going to take Kansas State. They are currently favored. It's went down to 2. When I posted the picks this morning, they were favored by 3. We'll be editing and updating that later on as well. 2 other games I'm taking this afternoon, Alabama and LSU. Alabama is favored by 7.5. It has now went down to 7. I'm going to be honest with you. If you are a betting person, I'd probably take LSU in the points because LSU, this game has been close the last couple of years. There's been an overtime game. There's been a last-second screen pass that they won, where Alabama won by 4. 7 points seem an awful lot in this particular game, but I'm going to take Alabama. The last game I'm taking in college, the Nebraska Cornhuskers travel to Ohio State. You know, I was really ready to take Nebraska, and I was sold on them, but they went to Camp Randall and stunk up the joint. But I'm getting back on that horse. I think Ohio State are having some problems. Now, I know that they're trying to, rebound and get better, but I think they're having some problems. They're favored by 17. I think Ohio State wins, but 17 points are a lot of points. I'm simply doing this to take the points. So, my picks, Florida, Kansas State, Alabama, and Nebraska. And I'm going to be honest, folks. I'm a little nervous. My record for the year is 27-21, but I'm a little nervous. I'm just saying. All right? I'm really worried about that. Now, let's look at the pros. There are a lot of interesting games going on. Of course, the games, we talked about those games that are being played. That Lions-Vikings game is very, very interesting. Right now, the NFC North is in flux. So, with the Vikings defense looking terrible, Sam Bradford looking terrible, I could see the Lions putting up some points and beating the Vikings at home. I should say, in Minnesota, but it's not going to happen. they're still the Lions as well. But one of the games I'm picking, Steelers go to the Ravens. The Ravens aren't that very good. They aren't good at all, as a matter of fact. Aren't that very good. That's bad English. They're not good at all, as a matter of fact. I've got to look at the Steelers just simply trying to hang on. The Ravens linebacker, Terrell Suggs, T. Sizzle, he's out. They've got some injuries. If the Steelers can hang on, they're in a poor division. I think they can be successful, and I think they are a better team, period, over the Raiders this year, the Ravens this year. I've got to go with the Steelers +3. But they've got the Ravens favored at home? Seriously? Wow. I'm taking the Steelers on this. I really am. I think Le'Veon Bell is back and playing as well. All right. The other game I'm taking, take the Cowboys. Look, I play this game. I don't play with my heart. I play with my head. Cleveland is terrible. The Cowboys are favored by 7. I think Dak Prescott still wants to prove that he is the quarterback of this team, not Tony Romo with all the talk. Tony Romo took snaps this week. Yada, yada, yada. Dak Prescott is the man. I would be shocked if they came in and took this position from this guy with what all they've done this year with this team. And Cleveland is a mistake by the lake in the grease fire. Sorry, they're bad. All right. Hats off to the baseball team and basketball, but football usually is the bell cow. They're not in Cleveland. I'm taking the Cowboys. Okay. The Chiefs, they play the Jaguars. The Chiefs are tough at Arrowhead Stadium. They just simply don't lose there. The Jaguars are terrible. Blake Bortles, why is this guy still quarterbacking? Take the Chiefs. 7.5. It'll probably be more than that. It will. I'm taking the Chiefs and running all day with that one right there. Got to. All right. Last but not least, I've been 5-2, and I'm calling a timeout right here, and I was gonna take the Dolphins, but I'm 6-2 with the Oakland Raiders this year. And yes, the Raiders are my favorite team. Yes, I bleed black and silver. Yes, I have been to the black hole. Yes, I'm excited about them moving to Vegas, which I will follow. The Denver game is a pick'em. The Raiders have been fantastic on the road and terrible at home. This game is in Oakland. They want to win a game for the home folks. And if I'm the Raiders, I want to do it. And I think even with the Denver Bronco defense, which is the best defense in the league, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, they still have problems offensively. And the Raiders are favored by 1. This is basically a pick'em. I'm sitting here right now as I speak, changing my picks on Facebook because I am not going to shy away from the black and silver, baby. So, I'm changing my picks, and I'm taking the Raiders -1 against the Broncos. It's the Sunday night game. We can do it. And that's the dynamic pay dirt picks. Okay? So, let me go over them one more time. Florida, 3.5. Kansas State, 3. Alabama, and that line went down to 7. And I'm changing that as well. Steelers, 3. Cowboys, 7. Chiefs, 7.5. And the Raiders, -1. There you go. Those are the dynamic pay dirt picks. I hope you enjoyed them. Good luck. If you beat me, I give you a dynamic gift box with Coleman's Dynamic Rib Rub, all 3 flavors. Coleman's Dynamic Rib Nuts, all 3 flavors. The fry batter, the rib juice, the rib mix. It's a good old thing. All right. All right. So that's it. Appreciate you listening to that. Look, the show is about over. Thanks everybody for listening to the show. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to try to get it posted on Facebook later on. Although Facebook doesn't like YouTube posts anymore, if you all didn't know that. Did y'all know that? Have you noticed that you hadn't been seeing a lot of YouTube posts on Facebook? That's because Facebook is dropping them down as far as priority is concerned since they went Facebook Live. All right. So hopefully I've tried to see. They didn't repost my show last week because I played the bumper music. So hopefully I didn't violate anything this week, and they'll post the whole show. And if not, we'll post bits and pieces later on in the week as well. Okay. So I want to thank Larry Ridley for joining me. Of course, Greg Pogue, Tim Swift, all of the guys that contribute to this show on a regular basis. We enjoy it tremendously. I enjoy doing it for you. I hope you'll continue to spread the word. Don't forget about a Father's Family Affair, folks. Again, just $10. I just need you to make a $10 donation. If you are into tax deductions, make a larger, look, I'll give you a $10 tax deduction. It don't matter to me. I just need you to make this donation so we can make this event a success. So will you all do that for me? Some of you all that have my phone number, you'll be getting a request from my phone via text as well. And of course, a lot of my Facebook friends. We got to get out of here. Really appreciate you joining me. Really hope you enjoyed the show. We'll be back next week. Just remember, with the election coming up, a voteless people is a voiceless people. A voiceless people is a defenseless people. And a defenseless people is a contradiction to democracy. I'll see you next week.